When I was a young man, I had a dream, and that dream was to own an online disc golf shop and to pair up with a completely mediocre amateur podcast. And as of today, my dreams have come true. So what I want you to do is buy your discs at randiscgolf.com and listen to the Hangin' Loose podcast. Thank you.
Two of these boys and girls will spend some part of their lives in a mental institution.
Welcome to Hanging Loose, a disc golf podcast, hosted by Shanked DG and Spicy Boy. Today's guest, Rand Disc Golf.
Hello and welcome to the Hanging Loose podcast. It always catches me off guard. I am Shank DG. With me as always,
Spicy Boy.
And with us now
Is Randy from Rand Disc Golf.
Mr. Randy himself. So, if you guys didn't catch the supplemental I put out last week, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. I talked about a TV show for 5 minutes. We have some news. Spicy, take it away.
Oh, yay. Love being put on the spot to announce things that I didn't rehearse ahead of time. As you guys may or may not have at least seen on Twitter, if you didn't catch the supplemental, our good friend Brian Papa Wolf is no longer with Great Lakes Disc. We are of the understanding that our sponsorship went with him. So we wanted to introduce you guys again to Randy from Rand Disc Golf, who is stepping up in a big way and taking over. What? Hold on, that one, that
Yep.
guy, me with a better beard, is going to be taking over our sponsorship. So we're going to let him introduce himself again, and he's going to go over all of the perks that we're going to get that you guys won't.
Oh, we're going to announce all that, huh?
No, we don't.
If you want to.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
You know me.
It's
All right,
$10,000.
Yeah.
Just send those feet pics, please.
All right. So, yeah, my name's Randy Nichols. I'm from Northeast Pennsylvania. I opened Rand Disc Golf in 2021. I left Procter & Gamble, quality position there, and worked for the Postal Service for a little while and decided that I'd rather do my own thing, and that's what I've been doing ever since. My wife is my CPA, which is incredibly helpful, and we've been growing slowly but steadily after the COVID boom. If everybody else kind of tapered down and I'm sitting right here plateaued. So we're going to keep growing, and partnerships like these, working with these guys are going to help everybody out quite a bit. So we hope to share some of the same audience and bring people to both sides of this. And for whatever discs you would like to peruse, I am really into helping the smaller companies. That's my specialty, is boutique companies like Alpha Discs, and I got a new one contacting me today called Ocean Discs and Wild Discs, and Wild Discs is no more, but Wing It Discs, and just small companies nobody else has ever heard of. That's my specialty. So if you want to try something new, if you want to try something that no one else is going to have, check out my site. I have 11,000 discs in stock right now. You can spend hours looking for stuff. Yep. I'm actually
keep them all.
Well, I'm in the room with them right now.
Under his hat.
So I have a trailer outside too full of them. But anyway, so it's awesome to pair up with these guys. I thought it was going to be Hunter and Trevor, but I came in here and it's Eastville instead. So I guess
To be honest, you could switch our names out and it would look exactly the same.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep, I think you're right. So that's about it for me.
Heck yeah. Well, we would want to thank you again publicly. We've thanked you enough privately, but thank you again for supporting the show. It fits us so much better. Thank you, Great Lakes Discs, for what they did. But we're a small podcast supporting small business who supports small disc companies. I mean, it just helps.
Yeah. Amateurs all around.
Amateurs all around.
There's another part of my life that's small that fits in as well, but this is a family podcast.
Well, it doesn't quite fit in
that way. So it doesn't quite. Shut up, Shane. Yeah, and I am eternally grateful anytime anyone wants to support me with anything, but you reached out to us, and that for a show that has such a small following, like, we don't expect that kind of thing. So it really just makes us feel like $1 million that somebody even wants to be associated with our rambling, randomly generated, come up with it on the spot
podcast. This is entertainment. This is entertainment to me. I'm not over analytical. You guys are also not over analytical. It's entertainment. This is fun. This is a fun show to listen to. Some of them that go way too deep, man, people's attention spans aren't that big anymore. Like, you know, you guys keep it fun, and that's what I'm about. This is what this sport's about. That's how I got into this. It's the most fun thing I ever did. So I think this pairing is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It works so well. We try to keep the vibe on this show a lot like what you would chat with your buddies about on the course. You know, it's not necessarily disc golf, but we might say nice shot or good layup between, you know, talking about a TV show or, you know, fast food or whatever else, you know.
Yeah, there is a lot of fast food talk on this show. So.
There is a lot of fast food talk on this show.
So on the fast food. Yeah, right. Actually, new lady friend commonly refers to her chafupa now, and I was like, I wish I had never said that because it's coming back to bite me in the ass, to be honest.
So good.
And then there's a friend of mine that comes to the bar for trivia who brings me, I may have mentioned this before, brings me free Canes meal cards, so I get to go to Raising Canes for free like at least 3 times a month, which is kind of nice.
I don't even know what that is.
Raising Canes?
Raising Canes?
Never heard of it.
Oh, no. It must not be in the Northeast. RV3. Nope. Do you know what it is? God? Where are you?
We don't have these here.
Oh, it must not be in the Northeast.
You know, you do have
Northeast thing.
Bummer. So good. so good.
I've had it before. It is very good.
It is so good.
You know, during travel. The thing I miss, and welcome to the fast food portion of Hanging Loose podcast, Cookout. I love Cookout so much.
Never
and they don't have them here, and I miss them.
They don't have them here either.
Oh, man. Cookout's the best. It's the
I miss Culver's.
Southeast thing. Culver's is pretty good, but Cookout's like the American version of Taco Bell.
Ooh.
Think of Taco Bell and their pricing structure,
the American version.
But it's American food instead of Mexican food.
Huh. I have a friend of mine that lives in very rural North Carolina, and that's her favorite like fast food places. Cookout. She talks about it all the time. So I've never been there either, but I know what it is.
Is that 2 friends you've been talking about already this show? Goodness.
You know what? When you're drowning in it,
yeah, brag about it. This guy's got a bunch of friends that just brags about it all the time.
No, he needs a life jacket.
Exactly. I most of my friends are women because I grew up in a house full of women, so I just associate with them better, and it's pretty much a problem for any time I get into a relationship. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm gonna be hanging out with loads of other women that aren't you, and it's like, oh, cool, what a fun conversation this is.
Well, listen to this guy.
Jeez.
Speaking of friends of mine that are women, my story time this week is gonna be a little on the sadder side, and I don't want to bring down the vibe that we just built up with Randy talking about how fun and exciting this show is. But my very first disc golf friend that I ever made, her name was Sarah Kometz. She ran the starting tent at the 2020 Memorial, which was the first event that I ever volunteered at. And everyone loves her. All the pros know her. Everybody loves her. She is the one that introduced us Simon Lozada's being from Delaware. If you watch the 2020 Memorial coverage on Jomez, like that, I'm in the background. You can see me laughing. She was such a wonderful person. And unfortunately, we lost her last Monday. She had some health issues that she dealt with for a very long time, and unfortunately lost that battle. But she's obviously in a better place now. And I just wanted to say, Sarah, I'm glad I waited a week because I'm already trying to not be emotional, but I love you very much. Thank you for everything that you did for everybody in the disc golf community, but me specifically. You were just a genuine source of joy for so many people, and the memorial next year is going to be missing a big chunk out of it. And Spinners on the Green, our local disc golf store that puts on the memorials, got a few things planned to honor her, and so I'm excited for those. But I just had to give some sort of recognition to the person who meant the most to me in the disc golf realm. So thank you, Sarah, for everything. Love you. Glad you're not hurting anymore.
Damn. Well, shout out to Sarah. Sounds like disc golf lost a real one.
It sure did.
Real sorry to hear that.
It'd be like that sometimes. You know, I know that it's not, like I said, I know it's not the best way to start off, but I can't just not say anything. She gave me my first mini, which I have sitting on the counter right back over there. It's a little LVC, whatever that Galactic Innova plastic is, mini, and her signature's on it. You can still barely see it, but she's just she was the best. So I'm a little quieter these days just because I'm still kind of fighting with it. But thank you guys for letting me have my moment.
No, of course. And, you know, those are the kind of people we want to spotlight on this show. And it's sad that she didn't get a chance to be here, but she is now. So,
yeah. Shout
out, Sarah.
We love Sarah. Let's do your story time, and then I'll bring us back down again for disc picks.
I don't really have a story time.
Okay,
week.
So just
no, I mean, other than like I've just been playing a little bit more, trying to make a priority to play more, to break off the rust. Heading into NADGT champs down in Austin.
Thanks, Cosmic Crisp.
Yes, thank you, Cosmic Crisp. And our RV3, we were doing something last week before we had to scrap the episode because I dug myself a deep hole. What was that again? We were gonna do a thing.
I'm trying to remember what thing you were gonna do.
It was you were asking me how I thought I was gonna do, and then we were.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we could do that too. Let's do that later in the episode. I do have a story time though, but I don't want to hijack yours. If you're,
no, I don't have one, so hijack it.
Yeah. So, like a lot of you guys know, if you're a regular listener of the Hanging Loose podcast, I've been helping to design and put in an additional 9 holes to an already existing 9 holes. That's like 7 minutes from my house. Been working on the weekends there a lot, and on Thursday of last week was the first league night where we played the 18-hole layout, and it was freaking awesome. It played so well. There wasn't any backups, though not much cross fairway stuff, but it was so awesome. So if any of the Clouder Valley guys listen to this podcast, thank you so much for all the feedback. Thank you so much for all the help. It's incredible, and it's not even like super cleaned up like it should be. It's just like, hey, the 18 baskets are there, and you kind of like tee off from stake where the tee pad's going to eventually be kind of level. But I'm just so pumped to be able to have that as like check the box kind of thing where I helped. There's direct impact that I've made. So that felt really good to be able to check that box and to play it, and for it to play as well as it did. I just can't wait. So yeah, thank you to the guys who helped out, and anybody else that wants to come play, listen, come on down. New Milford, Connecticut. I just told everybody where I live. So
is that the one with the RPM baskets coming?
So that's a different thing. I will tell you this: the RPM baskets are in.
Oh boy,
and they are just as good as they look.
I can't
in pictures. We have
wait
it
to
set
see
up.
that.
We have a portable one set up in my backyard, like 30 feet away from me right now. And the other one is the practice basket that we're using at the course.
Nice.
So it's
Nice.
chained up out there. So yeah, I think that's the first time that's been publicized. So
Nice.
if you're listening to this podcast, you got some breaking news.
Woo.
So congratulations.
Sweet.
One of,
Breaking
I'm
news.
assuming, a very small group of courses people that have those.
Oh yeah, I think if definitely the first in the state,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure there might be like maybe one other course or two other courses in the U.S. with them, but we had to like ship them.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure that was.
So they were on a
penny.
boat for like a while.
Mhm. I don't know of
Yeah.
any other courses in the U.S. that have them. I know there's
Yeah.
one or two in Canada, but
They came
Yeah,
on
we're
18 different speedboats.
we're working on something different for that.
nice.
Heck
In the area. But yeah, we got them. So see what.
Hell yeah.
Stay tuned.
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. It's awesome to hear. All right, disc pick time. I got mine from our boy right here, Mr. Randy.
Let's see
I
it.
was gonna show it off in the last one, but I figured since it had to get scrapped,
Ooh,
my boy sent me a squid. So these,
That's
if you
pretty.
listen to our Neptune Discs podcast, these have been out of production for a long time. A couple different versions of them have hit. None of them have done well. But now we've got Randy sent me a squid complimentary. Didn't pay him a dime, so appreciate you big time. We'll count that towards the allotment. As well as two other things. He actually sent me three other things in the bag, but
Oh wow.
one of them being these cool things you can get from him. Hold on, let's figure out how I can do this. Come on.
1,000.
Come on.
Back. There you
There
go.
it goes. Little guitar pick with his name on it, and then a little pin. I am so bad at this.
Oh, it's a pin.
Little pin.
Nice. We love a pin.
So that's going straight on the bag. And then
I owe Spicy some free stuff. It always ends up going to you.
Shout out to
know.
Randi for the squid. I'm so excited. It's
You don't
supposed
know
to
me
be
a damn thing, but we'll talk.
I think it's supposed to be like a wraith. So
Imagine not getting anything.
Oh, like a shirt.
I'm gonna go
Like
throw
a
a shirt on
shirt.
right now. So shout out to Randy again, randiscgolf.com.
So have you thrown that thing yet?
I have not. I just
That's
pulled it
what
out.
fucking look like it.
Okay,
I
so
just pulled it out of the plastic.
that's their second run.
Yes.
The first run ended up being very, very small because when they got them all in, half of them or more than half of them were no good. The quality was terrible. So the second run is much, much, much better. And
Nice.
those, as you can see, those came out really nice.
They're so nice, and the plastic is like it's like Star but grippier.
Yep.
Like I'm trying, like it's a little bit tough to run your thumb over the plastic, so it's nice and grippy. I'm excited to see how it flies. If it's anything like a wraith, I think I'm gonna love it. It looks like a wraith. It feels like a wraith.
Yep.
So
it's supposed to be. I haven't
Does it
thrown
quack
it.
like a wraith.
It quacks like a wraith. So
Wow.
It's probably a wraith then.
So thank you again. That's awesome.
No problem, man.
I can't wait.
I can't wait for all this free shit I'm apparently about to get.
Yeah,
We haven't even talked
I
about
have
it.
to hook you up.
So mine is actually, if you are a disc collector, you know how important the Sexton Firebirds are from the LVC at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah, in addition to being the starter for the Memorial here, would travel up to Vegas and she would do the starting for one of the courses up there. Jeff Jacqua, the TD, is a good friend. I know him. Jacqua. I know him. She knows him. He's very generous. He always brings me stuff from LVC when he comes down for the Memorial. It's a big deal. So Sarah was unable to get me a Sexton Firebird because they're very limited in their runs because people resell them for thousands of dollars. But she knew I really wanted a disc from Vegas. So she went, actually, it's going to be hard to see on the stamp, but It is the National Pinball Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Which is also located in Vegas. She got me the Sunset stamp, and this is a Innova Champion Firebird. So she got me the closest thing she possibly could without getting me, without having to wait in line 5 hours, because she's that kind of person. So this is definitely my disc pick this week because she's the sweetest. And it says, welcome LVC. You can't really see it on the stamp, but it's one of my favorite discs that I've never thrown, and I don't think I'll ever throw it. She got me orange because her favorite color is orange. So this disc has a whole new meaning to me, actually. So that's my disc pick. Randy, do you have a disc pick?
I do.
Saw you shuffling around
know.
on your desk.
I don't know if you're going to be able to. Why was I disturbing you?
No.
Oh,
So disturbed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I don't think you're going to be able to. But let's see.
Oh, we're almost there.
Paratroopers.
Oh, yeah, you can see some parachutes there.
Oh man, this is brutal because it's so clear. Oh, that's actually better.
Oh, that's way better.
All right, I thought it would need a background. So these come out Friday. These are the new streamlined parachute.
Oh, that
The
is
MVP Open.
so
This
gorgeous.
is crystal clear.
I'm so jealous. Oh shit! Sorry. I'm so jealous.
It's like a glitch, but what are these? 154, so the same weight, but they don't have an overmold. They feel a little nicer, softer, and the proton plastic is crystal clear. I have some purples, limes, clears, so just thought that would be a cool one to put out on here.
Love the little
Probably
alien
set one of
neon
those
sign
aside
there.
for that free disc chit chat we were just having a moment ago.
Well, what is there any certain year Firebird you're looking for?
Is there? I don't even throw Firebirds. I just wanted an LVC one for my collection, and Sarah tried to get me one and couldn't. So this was my consolation Firebird.
Well, let me see what I have,
Dude.
and I'll let you know.
Oh boy,
MVP has probably the best like clear plastic.
Oh man,
I think
it's so
and
nice.
the best glow plastic.
Yes,
and the best glow by far.
They have those, and then these are. I don't want to take up two, but these are the new Streamline St. Jude edition. What's the name of the mold? It's a new one. What? It's called the Shift.
Shift. Okay.
So those come out.
What's it supposed to be?
It's like feels like a 7502. I just got the box today, so I just took them out. But the MVP Open drop this year is only like 4 or 5 molds as opposed to 2 years ago when it was 30.
Yeah.
Because everyone can get them now. So, so they tapered it down, did a couple new streamline molds. They're really nice. Did you guys happen to watch that Smarter Everyday video on how MVP discs are made?
I have not watched it yet. YouTube keeps serving it up to me. I do need to watch it.
Yeah, you do need to watch it. It is so cool. It's so cool. It reminded me when I was at Procter & Gamble making diapers, so much of the industrial engineering is the same across all boards. Like there's machines there that are so similar to what we did for diaper making. It was just so interesting. You'll thank me because you're going to go and watch it and it's going to be sweet.
I watched it. It was fantastic.
It was, wasn't it? And it's
so
a series.
Good.
They're doing a full series.
Nice.
But
okay, I'll watch that tonight.
I got an Axiom disc today in a box, and there's a couple little defects on it. And I looked at that disc, and I know exactly what machine caused that defect after watching that video.
Nice.
I know what was wrong. It was really cool. So
he's just gonna write him a letter and be like, "Actually, I'm an expert."
Whoa.
YouTube certified,
right? I did all my own research.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll definitely watch that tonight.
I just love the fact that you use the Orgasmo Dave voice.
Yeah. Kind of like to make love to you tonight.
Yeah.
I love Orgasmo.
I know you do. We've talked about this before.
So, and their whole catalog of movies is my favorite. So I don't know if anybody saw the story on my Instagram a few days ago, but the lady that I'm talking to is 6 foot tall and I'm 5'8". So,
well, that's doomed.
We did the, I posted the clip from Basketball when they're like, "You're a little bitch." And it's like, "Hey, if you guys rip on me 13 or 14 more times, I'm out of here." And so I sent that to her and I was like, "This is how you talk to me." And it's not, she doesn't do it on purpose, I don't think, but like every time she refers to me, she calls me like my little buddy or my little leprechaun or
Oh, dear.
Lucky or whatever. Whenever she calls me little buddy, I call her Skipper right back because I'm a big Gilligan's Island fan, and you just have to kind of lean into it, I guess. But yeah, she's fun. Hi, Em. She's not listening to this. She's literally never heard of disc golf until we started talking. So we got a whole education to give her.
Heck. Oh, heck yeah. You know what makes a podcast real good? Dead air.
Yep.
Dead air.
Segue.
So
I thought you were waiting to say something.
You're going to AMS. You're going to AMS.
I'm going to AMS? NADGT?
Yep.
Yep.
And we were talking about the fact that you have never played these courses before and you were going in blind
Yes.
and hadn't practiced yet.
Hadn't practiced. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to because it's in Austin.
Well, yeah. So you hadn't prepared at all.
It's
either. Like you didn't even know. You didn't look at the caddy books or any. Like you looked at the maps, but that was it.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video of someone playing or something.
That's what I do before I film.
What is your confidence level, and how do you? What will you be satisfied with, and what are you going to try and do when you're there? Because you're playing MA3.
Yeah. So confidence level going into it, not great. I haven't practiced nearly enough. My putt is awful. Although I did switch back to Wardens, so that's a good change. Back. Nothing against the splash for nothing against the splash for putting. It's a really good throwing putter, but in terms of just for putting, Warden just feels better to me, especially the classic blend. But my confidence going into it, not great. Right now, I think I'll place top 50, and there's a 50%, not top 50. There's about 300, high 300 people, like 370, I think was how many were in MA3 when I signed up. So
370?
370 people in MA3.
That's a party card.
Right. And that's not including people that sign up and then don't show up. So, because there's people coming from all over the country to play. But I think right now I feel like I can probably place top 50%. Top 50%. And I think I'd be pretty happy with that. My goal, I'd like to cash. So whatever that would be, it's usually top 40%. So probably top 80, I think, is where I'd like to be. My goal is to cash, whatever that means at NADGT. So, and as an AM, cash means funny money.
Yeah, of course.
So,
because if you take cash and you go to MPO, you're the fuck out of here, bro. We're bringing in another amateur.
I'm out this podcast.
This is AMs only. But yeah, that's always a conundrum I would have in playing a tournament. Is like, I love money, and I have none of it. So if the moment they were like, "You want $300?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be a pro forever. Sorry, bye."
Well, the thing with PDGA memberships too is not only do you once you accept cash, you're a pro, but you also have to pay for the pro membership. So I don't remember what it is, but I think for AMs it's like 50, and then for pros it's 70 a year. I want to say that's about what it is. And so there's a lot of people that claim it's a weird thing, because I see, a lot of people, a lot of what you would consider AMs claim to be pro disc golfers when all they did was pay $20 extra for their membership. So to you guys, what makes a pro disc golfer? Is it just winning? Like if you win $2, like you place the bottom cash line, you win $2. Are you a professional disc golfer?
No,
I say yes.
By definition, you are. Yeah.
I was gonna say legally, absolutely. If you tell somebody, "Yeah, I made $7 at this tournament," no one's gonna take you seriously, as a pro.
Right?
But I think it depends on. I would define a professional disc golfer as somebody who spends at least like a third of their weekends playing in events, like somebody who genuinely takes it serious. Like I know I'm not ever going to be a professional. I'm not good enough. I don't play frequently enough. I don't have the amount of time and effort and energy that's required to be a professional, so for me, just mentally in my brain, I would be like, a pro is somebody who plays like at least 5 tour events every year.
Oh,
you
wow.
could be like a local pro. Like, so this is a true story. This literally happened to me yesterday. I was hosting trivia at the bar, and one of my regulars, his name's Noah. He was like, "Hey, I meant to ask you. I played pickleball with this guy, and he said he was a pro disc golfer." And I was like, "Oh, what's his name?" And he said, "Jordan Castro." And I was like, "I mean, kinda." Like,
yeah, I'd say yeah.
Like,
he played
people
pro tour for a while.
Used to be.
Yeah. And I was like, people know who he is if you say his name. I was like, but I can't remember the last time I saw him in any sort of disc golf related news coverage or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think he mostly hangs out in Arizona, because he told Noah, "Oh yeah, I hang out in Arizona during the off season." Well, it's not the off season right now, and you've been here the whole summer. So
I don't know
that's
who
why-
that is. I don't know who Jordan Castro is.
You don't know Jordan
called him
Castro?
The Castronaut for a while. He was an MVP sponsored pro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I saw a picture of him, I'd.
He very famously lost a ton of weight, and he's in phenomenal shape now compared to what he was. And I've kind of ribbed him a little bit on Twitter back and forth, just because we had some communication issues around a tournament of his that I joined. But
he's like Alden Harris of the previous generation in terms of like relevancy. Like, of him, but he's not around much.
Yeah.
He got a little fame for calling some rules violations frequently. I don't know if you guys remember that. He was a little controversial there near the end.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The only rules thing I can remember is when
Nailed it.
Climo called out Stokely for the foot fault like twice in a row, 2 or 3 times in a row. That classic video. But
yeah. Really? Not the Nico
and Ricky.
Violations. Yeah. Nico and Ricky at the Memorial in 2017.
I don't know if I know
that.
I
think of Nico in Europe.
Yeah, that's one that
toward the guy and said, "Step away from me."
Dude, that is to date one of the funniest videos. Like, it's such a bad look for disc golf. But Nico following that guy and being like, "Get away from me." I'm like, dude, you were the one instigating this whole thing. Like, it's such a definition of like that asshole at the bar who's like, "Step off, bro." It's like, you're coming up to me, my dude. It makes me
so
laugh.
good.
That guy's balls, because that guy's like, excessive time. Excessive time. He's just yelling right at Nico. God damn it. It's so funny every time.
Such a good clip, man. Yeah, I don't know if I know the Ricky Nico thing at Memorial.
Look it up. Ricky throws a shot, and then Nico calls him for a foot fault because he's like, "You were like 4 feet behind your disc." And if you watch the video, he's 4 feet, but he's like maybe
he's 2 to 3 feet behind his marker.
Yeah, and he did it because he was behind a tree, so he took that extra space to be able to get around a tree, and nobody seconded it at all. No one said
nobody
a word.
Seconded it.
No,
except Nico's walking around like this.
Right. No,
you've seen that clip.
That sounds very familiar now with him being all incredulous about it.
He's just blown away that nobody will back him up, and it is so funny every time.
That's interesting.
He's just as mad in that clip as he is happy in the albatross clip.
Yeah, he's pretty upset in that one.
Is there a guy you associate with that kind of reaction to rules in any other sport in history?
John McEnroe, the tennis player.
That's who I was going to say.
John McEnroe, for sure. I know this looks weird, but I'm trying to. My wrist rest is like peeling that top layer of plastic. So now I'm obsessed with getting all of it off.
Nice.
Yes, John McEnroe. There are a couple others who are sticklers for rules. I think
Happy Gilmore.
Bill Belichick.
No, he bends the rules.
Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't follow the rules.
You ever
Right.
see him yell at a referee? It's great.
Teach these kids. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise, but I really
No, you're okay. So speaking of
On the flip
rules,
side of it, Aaron Hernandez.
Jesus. No, he likes stools, not rules.
Wow.
Yeah, that's about the darkest joke I've ever made on here, I think. But I stole it from Tony Hinchcliffe, so sorry, Tony.
oh man. So speaking of rules stuff, I had a fairly controversial tweet last week.
You did.
I did.
That's my job.
And I was basically saying that even if I see a clear foot fault or like something like that, I'm never going to call it. Mostly because one, I don't really. If you foot fault, like say it's a jump putt, right? If you foot fault on a jump putt, you're likely not going to make it anyways because you don't have the same sort of stability and aim once you're airborne. So like foot faults are mostly inconsequential, and like nobody foot faults on purpose. At least the majority of the time, people don't foot fault on purpose. So calling them on it is
right. But I mean, you don't. Most of the time, you don't hit a batter on purpose, but there's still a penalty that you pay for that. And
right.
I don't agree with you're less apt to make it because you jumped. Jump shots are they're the highest value shots in basketball, and they're in the air when they release. You know what I mean? And I think
sure.
I think that I don't know. I feel like if it's a casual round, sure, but if it's like a serious round, it's a close score, there's a tournament on the line, you should absolutely call foot faults every single time you see them.
You think so?
And I would want people to do it to me too, because I know that if I foot fault and then I get a win, it's going to bug the shit out of me. And it's not going to be a clean win in my book.
Man, tough situation. I played a tournament where we had a guy on our card that called every little tiny rules violation, and it ruined the round for the whole card. And that was at a tournament. And while I agree that the rules need to be enforced, not at the detriment of, oh boy, it's a toughie. This is like one of those philosophy class ethics books questions. Because at the risk of a casual round, no way. Because you're going to risk ruining the whole day.
You risk your friendships.
In a tournament, though, oh boy.
Yeah. So I found the tweet that I was talking about. So it was from this person named Connor Olson. They were talking about Ultimate Frisbee. They said travels are a stupid call, and calling them hardly ever affects the outcome of the play. People that call them are just salty 90% of the time. And I quoted it saying, I feel the same way about foot faults. And so here's Custom Course Map said, nope, it's a skill you have to combine with another skill set. Take away the worry about where your foot lands, and any shot becomes infinitely easier. Ever notice how players start shanking shots after a foot fault is called? I said, agreed, but the lion's share of foot faults are accidents and make no difference to the outcome. Generally, 90% of the time, a foot fault jump putt is going to miss. So I just calling it has more negatives than good. Like you're gaining a stroke back on somebody, and say the only time I can think of a foot fault should be called is if it's an intentional attempt at cheating. Like you're in the woods and you do what Ricky did, where your foot is 4 feet behind your lie just so to get a better angle around a tree. But the lion's share of foot faults that are called are barely off your lie off a run up, or accidental foot fault while putting, or a falling violation. Though that makes more sense, I think, because if you're in the circle and you need to like putt under a tree and you fall forward, like that's a clear rule break. Sure, it was on accident, but it's on the player to maintain that balance, especially within circle one. So like that one I can see, but I think a majority of like when you see people on people were doing it to that kid that was on lead card at Deglow. What was his name?
The other Calvin.
Calvin.
Longquist.
Yeah, Longquist. He was got for it was either him or Taylor.
I don't remember
that
hearing anything about either of them.
But there were people upset about his step putt because his back foot comes up off the ground like.
Oh, that's Luke Taylor's putt. He's got that
Yeah.
long, floaty, glidey.
Yeah, and he kind of like kicks his back leg up like behind him, like kind of like as a flare thing. And people were calling him out for a foot fault, and I'm like, so it's too close to call for one. Like you would have to have it. You would have to have instant replay to call that foot fault. And two, what advantage is he gaining versus that or the legal step putt that's 0.1 second? His foot's on the ground 0.1 second longer than his current step putt. You know what I mean?
The problem is advantage is subjective and the rules are objective. And the rules, we know that disc golf is having a problem with rules enforcement anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to be enforced. If they're written down, they need to be enforced. And I don't think you can kind of stray from that even in casual rounds, though none of us actually do it.
Yeah. I think what would fix this almost entirely is you can jump putt, you can step putt, but your foot that is behind the lie cannot leave the ground until the disc comes to rest. Now, people were like, well, then you can't do a jump putt. And you can. If you look at like the first person that comes to mind when I think of a jump putt where your foot doesn't leave the ground is Big Germ. He's got that like straddle stance. He does kind of like a hybrid step. Like he'll putt and then one foot will jump forward, but his other foot stays behind his lie. And then the same thing with like a step putt. Like you see Ezra do it, where he does the step putt, but he leaves his back foot on the ground behind the lie through the whole flight of the disc. So like it's still a jump putt, it's still a step putt, but you completely erase the like frame by frame, like, oh, did his foot leave the ground before he let go of the disc kind of thing. So I think if they just adjusted that rule to be that, because there's already the circle one rule where you can't leave your lie until the disc comes to rest, or else it's a foot fault. Just extend that to circle two, where you have to have 1 foot behind your lie until the disc comes to rest. To me, that solves it.
Wait a second, until the disc comes to rest in circle one.
Yeah, in circle one. So when you putt,
I'm just clarifying circle one because you can walk a putt in
circle two. You can't in circle
two.
one.
Got you.
Yeah. Which this rule would eliminate walking a putt in. Unfortunately, and that's one of the cooler things in our sport. I think one of like the more badass things you can do is like walk a putt in while it's still flying towards the basket.
That's also one of the funniest when it goes wrong.
Oh, 100%. Like the clip of Drew Gibson when he's trying to walk one in and it misses, so he like kicks the grass and then falls on his ass.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree that no matter what, it's worth it. The good side and the bad side.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think there's an intentional foot fault ever. I mean, rarely. I shouldn't say ever. Rarely. So
right.
I don't really advocate for that. The rule I was proposing, but I think that would solve it. I also hold the stance that most foot faults are either unintentional or don't gain an advantage and are too hard to call. So who cares?
Well, and there's a lot of PDGA rules now that have the word intentional in them. For instance, Calvin Lundquist picking up Calvin Heimberg's disc.
Yes. That was so
funny. He didn't do it intentional. I felt awful for the kid, but he didn't do it intentionally. And I think ultimately what ended up happening is the card said, no, it was right there, put it back down because the rule says intentional. The problem is if you add intentional to every rule break becomes a discussion and pace of play gets absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. So to me, that's the only rule that needs to be enforced harder is the pace of play. The like time violations, because apparently final round at Deglow, Gannon was taking like a minute per throw, and it was like they even gave each card like a 2-hole buffer and they still backed up.
Oh, that's so annoying. Gosh, I hate that.
It's just like
it can be hard.
There's people on the court like, okay, you have a particularly tough lie, you're in the woods, you need to like line this up a little bit better, and you take 45 seconds like once a round. excusable, sure.
Sure.
But after every or a 20-foot putt or a circle 2 putt, and you're taking a minute to like, oh, this pump fake, this. I mean, come on, like,
dude. How
it's
about
a
when
mental
you're on
block at that point?
when you're on a car to 4 and you get up to the tee and you turn around and you go, "Hey, Spicy, it's your turn." And he hasn't pulled his disc out yet, and he has no idea where he's at, and he has to turn around. Yeah, there you go. And he has to turn around and go through. Which disc am I going to throw? Hasn't thought about his shot at all. Oh, that drives me crazy.
Yeah, So one of and I don't know if he listens to this or not. So sorry if you do, bud. But one of the people that I play with, maybe I'll just leave him nameless. He likes to always throw last on the tee, and he'll stand there and act like he doesn't know what's going on, just so everyone else walks up first and he can throw last. And it's like, no, man. If you birdied and everybody else parred or bogeyed, like, get your ass up there, man. Don't stand there and play your little advantage games. It's your turn to throw. It's your turn to throw. And here we fight the sunlight a lot because it's so damn hot. So we try and get out as late as we can. 6 o'clock is about as late as we can start now, which is normally when we wrap this podcast up. So I thank you again, both for all three of you for bumping early today, so that
of course
make it's my buddy.
Is it about time for you to go?
No. I still got about 10 or so minutes. But hold on. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Okay. But it's a buddy's birthday, so it's his birthday round. And I want to be there.
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, happy 47.
Adam. Oh, old fuck. Jesus.
Yeah. 47 ouch.
Yeah, he's
my final
a new dad at 47 actually.
Wow. A new dad. Damn.
Welcome.
Oh no.
Welcome, Jackson.
Welcome, Jackson, to the world.
Yes.
Final gripe, that since we're talking about it, the guy that comes up that walks onto the tee pad with 5 discs in his hand and then does the whole like, oh nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. I hate that shit.
Me too.
Like, I get maybe 2. Like, you're kind of getting a wind read at the front of the pad. You're like, oh, do I need overstable, or can I throw something a little bit more like forgiving stuff like? But the guy who takes like a handful of discs to the front of the tee pad and then throws 4 of them off the side and then 6 pats with his chalk bag, like, just shoot me, just shoot me,
dude. That's when you let someone play through and they're like, I'm gonna throw a couple. No, you're not. You're gonna fucking move on. I hate that.
Worst. It's the worst. I'm like, I'm all for people having fun, and this is mostly in the context of like competitive rounds or like even competitive rounds with friends. When it's casual or whatever, and everyone's got time, do whatever you want if you're having fun and not being disruptive. But in tournament rounds, or like competitive round, like local leagues and stuff, just shoot me.
Yeah. Move.
It's the worst.
Let's go.
Yeah, luckily right now in Phoenix, it's still pretty warm during the day. So when we all get out there, there's usually nobody else out there.
That's nice.
And that's another thing is like when we talked about party cards, it's, hey, if there's 8 people in front of you, don't wait on them every hole. Ooh. Like, if you can, just skip them. Like, otherwise, it's your round's going to take forever. And you make us feel guilty, and we should feel guilty, if there's 9 of us. But if there's no one else on the course, and it's I just skip them. Like, just be common sense about it. I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
damn kids.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, if you had something, I was just gonna lament about my 13-point drop in my rating today.
I was hoping you'd bring that up for story time because I want to know what happened. You won a tournament and then you got a 13-point drop.
I won.
He didn't win. He didn't
win. He was the only participant.
That's all right. It's still a win. PGA website still shows it as a win.
Yep, my win counter says 1.
But there's nobody else there to offset your rating compared to the MPOs.
So the last time I played this course, I got away with it because my first round was below the standard deviation and they didn't count the rating. Because my first round was like 760 rated or something, like something awful. And then my second round was like 830 or whatever. And, not great. But, and then this last tournament I played, it was 8. I want to say 830 the first round and then 870 the second round. But both of those 820, 830 rated rounds caught this time around. And then I also dropped off, an old round from my profile, so my average went down by a lot. So I was finally getting there. I'm like, oh, I'm like 880. I was 883 rated. Like I'm getting there. I'm back down to 850.
Wow.
857, I think it
I don't
was.
even know what I am. I think I'm 828 still.
And man, and it's a consequence of not playing very well, and also that course being really fluky. Speaking of which, I'm gonna be doing a new
822
social video type series. I'm gonna be calling it Hit List, and I'm gonna go around town and
Scared me there for a second.
try to birdie holes that I've never birdied here in beautiful Ponca City, and that's gonna be 16 of 18 holes at Bodark.
You gonna get punked up?
Get punked up. I think that's insensitive. RV3. RV3 got that.
You're
Wait,
fired.
really?
Wow.
Like
I had
Ponca
this-
City?
No,
I had this whole bit planned for today where we were going to be going over, the housekeeping things and announcing changes and so on and so forth. And I was just going to fully seriously go into like a sorry RV3, like we've decided to go with this new producer bit and not tell anybody.
That
It
would
just
have
had-
been sick.
People would have been like, what the hell, man? You can't just do them like that.
that would have been so funny.
I just had this whole thing that I had
No.
was going, and then I took a nap and forgot about it till right now. So
Oh, that's funny.
thanks, sleep.
Next week.
You should have told me. We
can
could have
fire him
worked on that together. I could have went
Sold it
off.
and then just watched Shanked.
Just
lose
sell
his
the
mind
shit out of
live
it.
on camera.
Oh, just
By the way,
Oh,
RB3, did you
died
like
of-
that LA Night promo that I wrote?
I did, and
That
I
was
said so
really
much.
good. I think
It was really good. I think you need to introduce yourself like that all the time. Just carry that around on your phone. Yeah, and that's how you introduce yourself. That you walk on stage for bingo or for trivia one night,
Yeah,
and you just practice it in the shower. Get some
it's
confidence
so
in
funny
it.
because I was sitting there writing it, and I wasn't even thinking of LA Night when I was writing it, and then I thought, oh, it'll be funny if I throw like a na in there, and then the rest of it just wrote itself. It came out, and I was like, this is like this is genuinely. If you had told me LA Knight said this, I would fully believe you.
He's on Cameo. We should get you a cameo of him saying that.
That would be awesome. Let's start a
Hell yeah.
GoFundMe right now for an LA Knight cameo. That would be
Heck
cool.
yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we're just about at time.
Yep.
Any closing remarks from Rand Disc Golf?
Nothing really in closing. Just can't wait to continue the partnership, and we'll see how this works out. And anytime you guys need anything, you know where to come. So
Absolutely. And that applies to you listeners. If you need a disc at all, go to randdiscgolf.com.
I'm going to talk to you about some hooligan discs that if you have any.
I don't. I never got them because they were pressed by Lone Star. But now they're not.
Ooh,
Now they're not.
okay.
Ooh, all right.
We'll
All right.
talk.
Talk about them.
Well, thank you so much again for hopping in and supporting the show.
It really does mean the world.
He came to us unprompted. I mean, I know he said he's been waiting for the opportunity, just chomping at the bit to advertise to our 4 listeners. But
Oh, is that what I said? I meant I was desperate.
You're gonna fit
I
in
was
here
just
just
being
fine.
nice.
I think. Yeah, I think we're in a good place.
So good. I love that. You're going to be our unofficial substitute host if Shankter I needs a night
Yeah,
where
that's
we
fine.
can't be here.
yeah, absolutely.
This is my
Happy
full-time
on.
job.
Heck yeah. Not driving around art.
Oh, that's a part-time job.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say he got this. He landed the sponsorship for this show and he quit driving around art.
Last week, I had a Picasso in the back of my van that was worth more than the total sales I've had in my shop since I started. And I
Wow.
went,
And
"Dear
it
God."
mysteriously went missing.
No, it didn't.
Oh, we
I
talked about you
turned my
can't
mic
resell
on to
art.
make the exact same joke.
But anyway, all right, guys.
Oh, well, thank you again so much. We appreciate it endlessly. As we end every show, you got to give us a scream.
Hurrah!
Yes, sir.